Hey guys, last week we started talking about making the most of what we have. It is one of the rules that we have for living. Love God, love others, share, work hard, make the most of what you have. Well, I have a lot of scraps. Now, these little scraps, a lot of people just throw away. I was going to say most, but I'm not sure how many people actually make little things out of scraps. And there's not a lot you can do with something this small. I can't turn it into a pocket. You know, there's really not much I can think of to use this for, but making the most of what you have. I have these 3 little scraps that are sewn together. So one little scrap with another little scrap makes a bigger little scrap. And I will use a fairly big scrap that I have and match that up with it. When I do crumb quilting, it's what it's called, using all the scraps like this. Think of the crumbs from a cake. The crumbs are still yummy, even if they're small. I'll put pins in it to keep them there together, and then I'll kind of put it aside until I find a few more that line up together pretty well. I want to find a bigger one for that one because I want to make the most out of all of the pieces that I have. And that works pretty good, so I'll match that one up. I don't really pay too much attention to the colors. I just look at the sizes and match them up that way. I've made several quilts doing this method, and I love it because it shows me that even a little bit of something can still make something big. Now, I realize most of you do not live in a craft store. So, what are other ways we can make the most of what we have? Well, in the kitchen, that might mean only cooking what you need, only eating what you need, saving the bits for leftovers, and then using the leftovers. That's the hard part for me. I like to save the leftovers, and sometimes I use them, but often they end up being science experiments. I'm looking for another scrap that's about that same size. Making the most of your clothes, not buying new ones just because it's in fashion right now, but using what you have. Making the most of your clothes by fixing them if they get torn, putting patches in your jeans, or just wearing them ripped. That's kind of cool now again, I guess. Making the most of what's around you. I happen to be lucky enough to be able to have a vegetable yard, and so I like growing our own tomatoes. Those are really the only things I grow really well. Right now I've got some lettuce that I'm trying to grow. But I like growing onions and strawberries and parsley, and so we use a lot of the herbs that we grow. It's making the most of what we have. And when we have a really good crop, we're able to share that with people around us, which is also really fun, sharing your blessings. One of the reasons making the most of what we have is a good thing is because then that frees up other resources for other people. Think of it like this. If you are really wise with your money, or probably your parents' money, and you're good at finding sales, and then you have more money to donate to different organizations that are doing good in the world where we can't physically go or do right now, donating to the church, saving up for summer camp, saving up for what we say is a rainy day. You know, if an emergency happens and your family needs extra money for medicine or a car accident or something, making the most of what you have now will help you in the long run. It will help you be able to share, which is what we learned about in that second week, sharing what we have. Building a big barn is fine, but then we'd better be sharing what we have from that. So those are my thoughts for tonight. Making the most of your time. I almost forgot. Usually, as I sit here putting scraps together and making bigger and new pieces out of them, I also use that time to pray. So I'm kind of multitasking. I pray and I sew. I pray and I sew. I might remember that this was fabric that I used for my friend's quilt, for her wedding quilt, and so I'll pray for her that she's doing good. I might remember that this was fabric that my mom gave me from a quilt that she made a long time ago, so I might pray for my mom. Or I just might pray for the world around us. Making the most of your time can probably be one of the trickier things. I don't know about you guys, but that's something that sometimes I don't do very well all the time. So this week, I hope you have opportunities to upcycle or recycle, save something or use something wisely, and use the blessings that God's given you to the best of their ability, making the most of them. I'll talk with you guys later. Bye.